Hey guys, and welcome back. Today we want to go through the restaurants aboard the Disney Treasure. We're going to talk about each of the separate restaurants. So there are three main restaurants that you don't have to pay extra money for that are part of the plan. You get 1923, you have Marvel, and you have Coco.
And on the Disney ships, there are going to be two main dining times for those rotational dining restaurants. So you have what you refer to as your early seating at 5:45, which is what we ended up going with, and then you have a later dining at 8:15. So depending on what your family needs are, you have a couple options there available to you.
Yeah, so one of the things we want to talk about as well, and we did discuss this in our cruise review video that we just put out recently. So if you haven't seen that, check that out. But we want to talk about rotational dining. So rotational dining is something, I'm not sure that other cruise lines do it, but Disney does it, and we really liked it. So basically, you get the same serving team throughout your entire cruise. So we would go from restaurant to restaurant. So for us, our first night was 1923. So that's where we met our restaurant serving team. The first night, the head server, the main server, and the assistant server. And then night two, we went to Marvel, same exact thing. Coco, the night after that, same exact team, which is really, really nice.
Yeah, the thing that is like a top benefit to that, right, is your serving team gets to know you and your likes and your preferences. So if there's a specific drink, they'll try to go ahead for your family and have that kind of available to you when you sit down, or like food preferences, they might be able to recommend a specific meal for you that night. So it's really nice. So you know they get to know you, but you also get to know them. And by the end of the cruise, you're kind of like cutting up with them and kind of really enjoying the time a little bit more. So that's really nice. The other thing we wanted to point out was there's also a pirate night, and I think we've kind of mentioned that previously, but for rotational dining specifically, what that means is you're going to have a pirate night specific menu no matter which restaurant that you're in. So like Mike mentioned, we went to 1923, then we went to Marvel, and then Coco. So then night 4, which was our pirate night, we were circling back around to 1923. But we didn't have the 1923 second night menu that night. We had the pirate night specific menu. And that's the same across all of the restaurants, regardless of whether you were at Marvel or Coco.
Yeah, so here in a minute, Mac will be joining us as we go through and discuss each of the three restaurants, as well as the foods that we really liked from each of these restaurants.
Yeah, and then after that, we're going to be going into each of our favorites. So we're going to give you the highlights of which restaurant we really liked specifically for the show, for the food, and then the overall restaurant review.
Yeah, so stay tuned. We'll be right back to start that discussion. All right, we're back. All right, so first we want to talk about the restaurants and our favorite foods. We're going to go in the order that we actually went on the cruise ship, which the first night we were in 1923. We were actually in there on night 1, on night 4, and on night 7. On night 4 it was Pirate Night, which we'll discuss later, so we had the Pirate Night menu. And then our last full night, full dinner on the cruise, night 7. So, want to talk about first something that we really talk about in most of our videos, that each night you get a bread service. So the first night on board in 1923, we had the Dayton olive bread with honey butter dip, which I thought was really good. I enjoyed that. But now we're going to tell you what our favorite dishes are, and I'll show you the pictures of these so that you can see what it is that we're talking about as well. So, Mac, for night 1 in 1923, what was your favorite dish?
My favorite dish for 1923 night 1 was the Mickey ice cream bar, and it was very chocolatey.
So obviously she picked a dessert. Big shocker there.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Hope, what was your favorite 1 or 2 dishes?
Yeah, so I actually ended up having 2 favorite dishes from night 1. The appetizer was a mozzarella and prosciutto, along with a little crisp and some candied orange. which was just, again, it was delicious. And then the entree was the rack of lamb. That one just kind of like really kicked off the cruise for me in terms of the meals, so it was delicious.
Nice. All right, and then of course my favorite meal for night one was the 1923 peppered filet mignon, which I've seen a lot of videos. People really like this dish, and now I know why. You'll hear later. It's on my rankings, one of the top dishes I had for the entire cruise, so it was really, really good. All right, so we'll go ahead and move into the second night in 1923 restaurant.
Yeah, so for the second night for the bread service, we ended up with a sourdough bread with olive oil and rosemary dip. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was very good. I really enjoyed that. All right, so moving back over to Mac again. Mac, what was your favorite dish from 1923, night 2?
My favorite dish for 1923 night 2 was the marinated shrimp, and I really love shrimp.
So that was an appetizer, so she really enjoyed that. She had quite a bit of shrimp on this cruise, actually. Mac, what did moving on to Hope? Sorry, Hope, what was your favorite dish that night?
So I ended up with 2 again. The appetizer again on this one, it was like a double baked 3-cheese souffle. And then the dessert, it was a chocolate lava cake. It was really decadent and delicious.
You'll sense a theme about chocolate from these two. You'll notice that. All right, so night 2 for me, my favorite dish was the oven-baked lobster tail. Really enjoyed this dish. In fact, the head server tried to get me to order another plate of it, but as you may have seen from our videos, I was having about 8 different servings per night, so didn't really have the room for it, but really, really enjoyed this dish. All right, so those were our favorite dishes from 1923. We'll move on here in a second, and we'll show you our favorites from the Marvel restaurant. Be back in just a second. All right, we're back. Now we're going to talk about the Marvel restaurant and what our favorite dishes from that restaurant were.
The bread service for the first night in Marvel was actually a marble loaf with red bell pepper dipping sauce. I have to say this was probably one of my favorite bread services. Overall, I really like bread, so but it was really delicious. I think the bread was cool. It had a couple different colors like mixed together, but again, that dipping sauce was pretty good.
Yeah, so the Marvel restaurant, I didn't say it before, but we were in there on night 2. We were also in there on night 6. All right, Mac, for night 1, what was your favorite part of the meal?
For the first night in Marvel, my favorite dish was the potato soup, and it was very potatoey.
Potatoey.
Very creamy and delicious. It looks good.
It did look very good. So was there anything else on night 1 that you really liked in Marvel?
Yes, it was the Spider-Man cupcake, and it was very chocolatey, and when I ate the face of Spider-Man on top of the cupcake, it was actually chocolate.
She loves chocolate.
Yep.
All right, so that sounds good. All right, so we'll move on to Hope. Hope, what was your favorite part of the meal on night 1?
Mine was the appetizer, the steamed bao bun. So it was delicious. There was a little piece of pork belly, some vegetables in there, and then there's like a little sauce kind of like drizzled on it, which is really delicious.
All right, and for myself, I ended up having the cheesecake bite. That was my favorite from night 1. It was actually one of my extras. So if you've seen our videos or if you haven't, each night there are 5 courses that you can order. You have the app, the salad, the soup, the entree, and the dessert. Well, for video purposes, I was also ordering 3 other dishes so we could review those as well. I was ordering an extra app, an extra entree, and an extra dessert. So the cheesecake bite was actually one of the extras that I ordered, and it was turned out to be the best thing that I had had that night. So it was really good. All right, so moving on to night 2. For bread service, we had the 6-grain country bread with caramelized onion dip. I really liked it. I like onion dip. I thought it was really good. And of course, it's bread, so you can't go too wrong with bread. All right, so moving on to our favorites for night 2. Mac, what was your favorite part of the meal for night 2?
My favorite meal for night 2 in Marvel was the white cheddar broccolini soup. And it was very cheesy and broccolini, which is broccoli.
So that's good. Yeah, it looked like a really nice soup, so that was really good. All right, Hope, what was your favorite part of the meal?
Ended up being the app again for me. So the Malaysian chicken satay. I'm more of a beef girl when it comes to the meat choices. So the chicken really stood out to me. That with the peanut dipping sauce, it really stood out.
It was one of our favorites during the cruise, just a hint. All right, and for me, on night 2 in Marvel, my entree that night was my favorite, the beef Wellington. It was the first time I had a beef Wellington. I really enjoyed it. I thought the dish was really good. And then, of course, I had one other, so I had a second one on that night that I enjoyed. It was the celebration cake. It was one of my extras. It was one of my 8 courses. I thought it was really good, and I really enjoyed it. So this is what we really liked from our Marvel restaurant nights 1 and 2. We'll be moving on to Coco here in just a minute. All right, we're back. Now we want to talk about the Coco restaurant. We were in the Coco restaurant on nights 3 and 6. I know I mentioned earlier Marvel was 6, but it was actually 5. But nights 3 and 6 for Coco. It was really enjoyable. It had a really good show, which we'll discuss here in a couple of minutes.
And for first night bread service, we ended up with chips and salsa. We'll say, we've heard this from others around, but basically the salsa didn't really have any flavor that first night.
Yeah, it was basically a tomato sauce. It was
very watered down.
Yeah, it didn't have much taste at all on night 1. So, all right, so we'll move on to our favorite dishes. We'll talk to Mac first. Mac, what were your favorite dish or dishes from night 1 in Coco?
On night 1 in Coco, my favorite dish was the sweet corn chowder, and it was very sweet and corny-ish.
You're so corny. So it did look awfully good. A soup there, it looked pretty good. Did you have any other dishes that you enjoyed on night 1 in Coco?
Yes, I had the cheesy chicken quesadilla, and it was very cheesy, and I could barely taste the chicken too.
Nice. That was another dish that looked awfully good. Or was there anything else that you might have liked on night 1 in Coco?
Yes, it was the sweet nachos with chocolate dipping sauce.
Yeah, so these nachos were covered in cinnamon sugar, I think, and dipped in a chocolate dipping sauce.
Yeah.
I mean, who would like that, right? All right. It looked really good. I'm envious because I didn't get it. All right, so let's move on to Hope. Hope, what was your favorite dish or dishes from night 1 of Coco?
So this first one kind of really took me by surprise. I hadn't ever tried beets before, but the appetizer, it was a goat's cheese, yellow and red beet tower, and it was like creamy and delicious. Like it was borderline almost a dessert.
All right. So I will say, when it came out, I thought they were just serving her dessert first for some reason. It looked really good.
It ended up being very good. And then my other item from that first night was the warm coconut tres leches cake, and it also came with ice cream on the side. And when you put all of those together, delicious.
All right, and so for myself on night 1 in Coco, I had the entree, the beef short rib. This dish was really, really good. It was fork tender, basically fell apart as soon as you touched it. Just a really, really good dish. And then also my dessert on night 1 in Coco, it was the margarita lime cheesecake. It's a cheesecake. So yes, I loved it. It was very good. And then I actually had a third, so you can see where this is going for our later discussions. But I had the croquettes, which was one of my extra dishes, one of my 8 servings. It was really good, really good.
Yeah, and I had a little bite. He actually shared that one with me, and it was nice and crispy on the outside and gooey and creamy on the inside.
Yeah, it was really good. And the only reason I shared is because I ate so much that night I couldn't fit it all in. All right, so let's move on to night 2. So night 2 we had, for the bread service, anybody want to guess? Chips and salsa. However, I'm not sure if it's because we said something and added the hot sauce to our salsa on night 1, but on night 2 the salsa was a different salsa.
Yeah.
It actually had a lot of flavor. It was actually really good. I really enjoyed it. So much better on our second night in Coco. All right, so let's talk about our favorite dishes from night 2. Mac, what was your favorite dish from night 2 in Coco?
On night 2 in Coco, my favorite dish was the beef empanada, and it was just so delicious.
So we had seen in some videos that a lot of people really enjoyed this dish. I was drooling off to the side because I did not get it, but it looked really good. And did you have any other dishes on night 2 that you really enjoyed?
Yes, I had the black bean soup, and I really like black beans.
Yeah, so this was another one that looked awfully good. It was her soup course. Looked really enjoyable, and somebody actually ate it all, so you could tell right away somebody liked it.
Yep.
All right. So moving on to Hope. Hope, what were your favorite dish or dishes from night 2 in Coco?
Yeah, so I ended up also getting the beef empanada. Like, I couldn't avoid that one. I'd heard a lot of good things about that one when we were watching different videos, getting ready for our trip, and it did not disappoint. It was just one of the highlights from all of the options that we had. And while not one of my choices, I also had the black bean soup, and it was really good. And it had a little bit of spice to it. I have a low heat tolerance, so it had just a little bit, but it was really good too. But my second kind of choice for the second Coco night was Miguel's churros. Oh, I'd heard a lot of good things about this one too, and it was so good, along with the caramel dipping sauce. Oof.
Yeah, I will say that did look very good from a distance. I, again, didn't get that one. But,
I did not share.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
We see how it works. All right. All right, so night 2 for me. One of my favorite dishes of the entire cruise was my appetizer. It was the red chicken enchiladas. This dish was outstanding. It was actually a pretty good size. For some people, it could have been an entree size, but it was the actual app, but super delicious. Really, really, really good. And then one of the other items I really liked on night 2 was my actual entree, which was the grilled seafood and tomato rice. I really enjoyed this dish. It was pretty good. And then the last item for night 2 that I really liked was the blistered poblano pepper. It was my extra entree, one of my 8 courses. It was delicious. I love Mexican food, and it was a stuffed poblano pepper. It was just really delicious, really, really good. So as you can probably hear from the amount of dishes we talked about, this might be a pretty decent restaurant. We'll find out here what our rankings were here in a couple of minutes. But here in a minute when we come back, we're going to talk about our favorite shows from the nights we were in the restaurant, as well as our favorite food and our favorite overall winners for the cruise. Stay tuned. All right, we're back. I lied. Forgot about Pirate Night. We got to do Pirate Night first.
Yeah.
All right, so Pirate Night was on night 4 of our cruise. We were back in 1923 restaurant for the Pirate Night menu. So we just want to go through that real quick with you.
Yeah, the bread service for Pirate Night was a Johnny cake, which is a cornbread with a mango dipping sauce. Now, I don't know if you would think that those two would ever go together, but strangely it really worked, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, the dipping sauce with the Johnny cake was really good. It's a bread type item. How can you go wrong? It was good. All right, so let's move into the menu and the items we liked. All right, Mac, on Pirate Night, what was your favorite dish or dishes?
It was the crab cake, and surprisingly, it was super soft inside and very delicious.
Yeah, I think all three of us ended up getting the crab cake. It was a good dish. It wasn't overly stuffed with crab, but it was crisp on the outside, soft on the inside, which was really nice. Is there anything else on Pirate Night that you liked?
Yes, it was the warm chocolate brownie, and I really like brownies and chocolate, and there was like an ice cream on top of it, which made it taste even better.
Sounds terrible. Big shocker she liked that, chocolate and ice cream. All right, moving on to Hope. Hope, what was your favorite meal or meals from the Pirate Night menu?
Actually, it was the dessert. So mine was a rum-soaked chocolate cake. Highlight on the chocolate piece. And like Max, mine came with a little bit of ice cream, so just that combo, you just can't go wrong with it. So it was good.
So you see a theme, chocolate. If you want to bribe somebody in this family, at least that side of the room, you know where to go. All right, so my favorite dish on Pirate Night was actually my entree. I had the Jack's Treasure of the Seas. It was actually a seafood dish. It had scallops and shrimp, among other things, with some pasta. It was a really good dish. I really enjoyed it. So that was our quick hit, kind of, on the Pirate Night menu. We enjoyed it. And of course, we'll talk about the shows here in a second. The Pirate Night shows, they had 2 of them. They were really good. Really enjoyed those. And we'll see you guys back in just a second. Okay, we're back. Now we want to go through and talk about the shows and then give you what our favorite shows were from the cruise. So first, I want to do just a quick overview of the different shows in the restaurants that we had during our cruise. So we'll start in the order that we had on our cruise, which was 1923 was our first one. So 1923, there was no show per se, but the restaurant is filled with tons and tons of different artwork. It was very, very nice, much quieter restaurant than the others.
Yeah, I think it was a nice kind of like breaking up, like I said, each of the dinners throughout the cruise. It was, again, a little bit quieter, and just being able to enjoy just conversations with your table mates or just the ambiance of the restaurant itself. Like you said, like all the artwork, it kind of like, you know, draws your eye, and to be able to enjoy that was nice.
Yeah, it was basically the few times you were in 1923 were the nights it was much easier to have conversations with your table mates or each other, because most of the shows were pretty loud, so you're kind of having to scream across the table or down the table to somebody to kind of talk to them. So that was the nice thing about no show on those nights. All right, so we'll move on to Marvel. So Marvel Night 1 had the Ant-Man and Wasp show. Also had other Marvel characters fighting off Ultron. Also had Spider-Man come out and pay a visit to everybody, all the different tables. Actually stop by each person for a second or two, which was really, really nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
And then on night 2, you had the Groot and Rocket show.
Yeah.
So Groot and Rocket, basically Groot dancing to some music and doing some things, and then Rocket not feeling like he was appreciated, so there was some stuff going on there. A lot of trivia, a lot of different lot of music on night 2 of Marvel. So, but the Marvel restaurant's kind of darker. It's got like the blue thing going on. So, but it's a darker restaurant. So just kind of keep that in mind as far as what you can see and what you can't. And then let's move on to Coco. So Coco, the night 1 show was a theme for La Familia, which was a nice show. They Coco restaurant, they have the stage, which is dead center of the restaurant. All the tables are around that stage, so they perform right in the center area, which I thought was really nice. And then on night 2,
it was focused on Dia de los Muertos, which is which is the Night of the Dead, where you celebrate and remember those who family members who have passed on. And just kind of bringing, kind of focusing more on celebration and again, back to family overall.
Yeah, it was really nice. Night 2 was a lot more, I thought, interactive.
Mm-hmm.
So the performers came further out, away from the stage, further into the table areas. And the servers actually got to be involved, which was, I thought, nice.
Yeah.
They got to do a little part of the performance, which was rather enjoyable. All right, so we also want to talk about Pirate Night. So Pirate Night's kind of a caveat. This is not a restaurant show, but Pirate Night had a couple of shows that we really haven't talked about, so just want to mention them here. They had the Mickey and Minnie Pirate Night party, which was around 8:15, so our servers had to get us out pretty quick so we can get out to this show, and they did a good job doing that. That was a very enjoyable show. Had all the Disney characters involved. So that was nice, and they were in their pirate costumes.
Mm-hmm.
And then the later show, which the first show was at 8:15, second show started at 10:15, I think. It was the Pirate Parlay show with fireworks, a lot of rock kind of music. Also had Jack Sparrow in it, not Johnny Depp, but a character Jack Sparrow, which was nice. And then they had the fireworks. So the fireworks out on the ocean was really, really nice.
Yeah, Mac and I ended up missing that. We were a bit tuckered out that night, so we were hanging out in the room. Yes. But it seemed like a really fun time. It was really neat to have the fireworks.
It was enjoyable. It was a lot of 80s kind of rock music, which was nice. At least that's what I'll say, 80s I think it was. So that was it was rather enjoyable. So we won't include those in our favorite show because they're not technically in a restaurant, but those were some shows that are definitely something you got to check out when you're on the cruise. All right, so now we'll get into actually what our favorite shows out of what we just talked about, what we liked the most. So Mac, on the cruise, what was your favorite show for the restaurants?
It was Marvel Night 1 with Spider-Man and the ship shrinking.
Yeah, so that was interesting because we had the little things on the table and you got to help get the ship back to normal size. So it was very, very interactive. And then of course Spider-Man. Spider-Man actually made an appearance, came out to each table, spent a second with each person as Spider-Man roamed the restaurant. Yeah. So it was really neat, especially for the kids to say, "Oh look, there's Spider-Man. He's actually coming over to me." That was pretty cool. All right, so moving on. Hope, what was your favorite show for the cruise?
I have to say Coco Night 2, the Dia de los Muertos celebration. The singing and the dancing and everything. It was just, it's an incredible show just to be able to watch these performers kind of get up there again. Like we've mentioned it before, night after night, just kind of going through all of that. It was just really enjoyable. I liked that second night in Coco.
All right, and for myself, honestly, it was Coco both nights, both of the shows for Coco. I'll say night 2 more just because it was more interactive, but they both had really good music, really good performances. The neat thing was, the stage right in the center of the restaurant. So no matter where you were, if you couldn't see as well because of where you were, you could really hear what was going on. It was just really enjoyable. So those were our favorite shows for this cruise. Here in a minute, we're going to be going through our last section where we're going to tell you what our favorite dish or dishes, but our number 1 dish for the cruise was for the entire time we were on the cruise. And then we're also going to share overall our favorite restaurant for this cruise. So stay tuned. All right, we're back. All right, in this section, before I get started, as you may have noticed, we have another family member joining us. They were a little agitated that they weren't involved in the first sections of this video. Mm-hmm. All right, in this section, we're going to talk about our favorite overall dish for the entire cruise. And then at the end, we're going to talk about what our favorite overall restaurant was for this entire cruise. Mm-hmm. For that section, you're really talking about the food, the shows, the ambiance, pretty much anything you can think of for those for your overall restaurant review, okay? All right, so we'll get started. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about our favorite overall dish for the entire cruise. Mac, tell us what your favorite dish was and then which restaurant it came from.
It was the sweet nachos with chocolate sauce, and it came from the restaurant Coco, and I picked that because the restaurant Coco is like very interactive and the food is just very delicious.
All right, so that was nice. All right, Hope, what was your favorite dish for the entire cruise?
So this one actually surprised me a little bit because I mentioned previously, like, generally when I'm choosing different meats and stuff, I'm kind of a beef girl. So I really, really enjoyed the Malaysian chicken satay at the Marvel restaurant. The chicken was just really well seasoned, and I just couldn't get it out of my head. That with the peanut dipping sauce really kind of put it over the top for me. So it was really delicious.
Nice. All right, and for myself, I actually chose the 1923 peppered filet mignon. This dish was really good. I had seen quite a bit of input from different videos, people talking about this dish. This dish was really good. From 1923 restaurant, was just an absolute winner for me. Now I will say a very close second was the red chicken enchiladas from Coco, but the best overall for me was 1923 peppered filet mignon. Very good. All right, so we're going to move on now to the biggest overall award for this cruise. We're going to talk about our favorite restaurant, which is, again, has to do with the food, the theme, the show, ambiance, you whatever you can think of, okay? All right, Mac, what was your favorite restaurant for the entire cruise?
It was Coco. I chose that because it was very interactive and had good food, and like it was just very fun to eat there.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, so 1 vote for Coco for the best overall restaurant. All right, Hope, give us your choice of best restaurant.
So I would also have to say Coco for overall when you combine both the food options and the overall entertainment and the ambiance and feeling. Like I mentioned, like in the Coco, the shows, like it just, I think because of it being like a live show, like you really kind of get pulled in a little bit more, so you feel kind of like part of it, a little bit kind of like pulled into the family, right? So even though my food option, my top food choice was from the Marvel restaurant, overall I would have to say Coco wins out for the restaurant.
All right, that's 2 votes for Coco. Wonder how it's gonna end. All right, so for myself, I'm gonna have to make it unanimous. Coco overall was the winner for me. Now, again, my favorite dish was from 1923. In fact, it was neat that if you look at our favorite dishes, we had a favorite dish from each restaurant.
Yeah.
So it was rather interesting how it ended up working out. But when you take into account the food, which just overall, dish by dish by dish by dish, Coco was just it's hard to beat. Every course was really good. The shows were really good. The layout where the stage was, just how the restaurant was set up, the ambiance, it was really, really enjoyable. So it was a clean sweep for us, for our family. We appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to us ramble on about our opinions. But hopefully, for yourself, you'll get out there if you haven't before, or go again if you have been, and check out these restaurants and give us your opinions on that. Comment below if you really like certain items. We'd appreciate that. But we've enjoyed putting this video together, and we'll see you next time. See you later. If you enjoyed this video, please consider supporting the channel by hitting the like button, as well as subscribing and ringing the bell for notifications on future videos.